Hello, my name is Aaron, and welcome to Board Games, Bricks, and Hobbies. This is a series where I take a quick look at one of the games in my collection. This week, we're taking a look at Villainous. So, as I mentioned, this is a series where I just take a quick look at a game. I talk about my likes and dislikes, and whether or not I think the game is going to stick around in my collection. Just a brief overview. Villainous is a game that's been out for some time now. There's both the Disney version and the Marvel version as of this time. And this is actually one of the expansions. And each expansion can be played on its own with 2 to 3 players. And so there's that. What do I think about it? Well, let's take a quick look at what's in the box and the components, and then we'll talk about what I like. So, the main thing that I like about the game is actually what drew me to the game in the first place, and that is just the theme. Obviously, it's about Disney villains, and in this case, you actually get to play as those villains and basically try and complete your objective. And the game has a really good theme to it because each villain's objective is based on what they're trying to accomplish in the movie. For example, Hades is trying to get all of the Titans to Olympus. Scar is trying to defeat Mufasa and Simba, and so on. And so the game is really thematic in that sense. And I really do like that about it. Another thing I really like is the art. Because they didn't just use still shots from the movies. It would have been very easy for them to do that and kind of just a cheap cop-out, but they actually came up with completely original art for this game. So each card and each villain has its own unique art that is just for this game. So I think that's a really nice touch there. Just adds to the production and makes it look less cash grabby. So that's really what I like about the game and what drew me to it. And with that, we now have to go into what I dislike about the game. So, what don't I like about this game? Well, for one, it's the player count. Now, technically, the game is 2 to 6 players. Obviously, the expansions are a max of 3. But if you get more expansions or if you get the base game, you'll be able to play with up to 6 players. And I would never, ever, ever recommend that. The game is simply far too long. And that actually leads into another major con for me, which is just the minimal player interaction. You're really not interacting with anyone else. There is a fate action that you can take, but oftentimes you don't even want to take that because it's just going to help out the other player and give them a card that they need. So even the minimal player interaction that there is, sometimes you're avoiding it because you don't want to give that person a card. And so just minimal player interaction and just basically feeling like multiplayer solitaire. And that's really unfortunate because I did want to like this game more than I did, but just the fact that the player count just really doesn't work with any more than 3 or 4, I think severely limits its usefulness. It works well with 2, but again, it's just lack of player interaction, and also because of the lack of player interaction, you don't really get to mix universes. One of the things that I thought this game would do is you get to be Scar, fighting Yzma and fighting other villains, but that doesn't really happen because again, each villain's arc is self-contained to their area and their realm. So you don't get to see any interaction. You don't get to see Cruella fighting Gaston or anything like that. I actually don't even know if they've made Gaston yet as a character. But anyway, so just lack of player interaction and just really limited player count in my opinion. Even though the game says it's 2 to 6, I would definitely recommend 3 or 4 at the most, but definitely probably best with 3. Which is one of the reasons I picked up an expansion in the first place, is because I played it once with 6 players and almost didn't want to play it again. So with that, let's go ahead and wind things up with my final thoughts. Alright, so what's the final verdict on this one? Well, it's staying in my collection for now. That said, I have no desire to hunt down the expansions for this game, and the Marvel version doesn't interest me at all. Again, because it's just such a limited player count and limited interaction. I'm just going to hang on to this one for now, but I'm not going to get any more. So what does that mean as far as recommendations? Well, if you consider everything that I've said, the really great theming and the minimal player interaction and what, in my opinion, is a limited player count as well, then you might want to look into it if you really do enjoy the theme, if you like the villains, if you really enjoy that theme, then you're probably going to like the game. But if you're looking for something with a bit more player interaction, then you'll probably want to stay away from this one because, again, it does kind of feel like multiplayer solitaire. So that's Villainous, and this has been Board Games, Bricks, and Hobbies. Again, my name is Aaron. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Take care.